A potential NCIS Origins plot hole involving Gibbs' father has been addressed. The upcoming show is a prequel to the iconic crime procedural following the early years of long-running major character Special Agent Leroy Jethro Gibbs, now played by Austin Stoll, though original star Mark Harmon is set to provide voiceover narration for the series. Young versions of other characters from the original cast will also appear in the NCIS Origins show, including Kyle Schmid as Gibbs' mentor Special Agent Mike Franks, originally played by Muse Watson, and Robert Taylor as Gibbs' father Jackson Gibbs, originally played by Ralph Waite. One of the questions asked in the TV Line Q&A column Matt's Inside Line involved NCIS Origins and whether the show would address the plot hole that, in the canon of the original series, Jackson hadn't spoken to his son since the funeral of his daughter-in-law Shannon and granddaughter Kelly. Co-showrunner David North addressed this issue and revealed that we did solve it and that the new prequel is very much working within the canon of the original show despite taking place after Shannon and Kelly's deaths. Read North's full quote below. How will NCIS Origins maintain canon with Jackson Gibbs? The upcoming NCIS spin-off does have its work cut out for it in terms of maintaining the continuity of the overarching universe of the franchise, which already encompasses 8 shows including JAG, from which the original show was a spin-off in the first place. However, there are ultimately a few key ways that the prequel show could feature Jackson Gibbs without jeopardizing the canon. One factor that will help reduce the riskiness of including the character is the fact that he will be recurring rather than a regular, meaning that he will not be featured in every episode. The episodes that do feature Jackson Gibbs can incorporate him in ways that do not violate the canon that was already established in the original NCIS. Because the primary storyline of Origins takes place after the deaths of Shannon and Kelly, this most likely means that any interactions he has with the younger Leroy Jethro Gibbs will be confined to flashback sequences, either taking place during the years before the funeral or during the days and weeks leading up to the funeral itself. It is also possible that NCIS Origins will feature Jackson Gibbs during the timeline of the main story of the show. One way this could happen is that Jackson could be attempting to help guide his son by talking to the people around him without directly coming into contact with him. It is also possible that Leroy could see his father once or twice without actually speaking with him, which may not technically be in violation of the canon of the duo not having spoken. The beginning of an investigation. The highly anticipated spin-off, NCIS Origins, has captivated fans with its nostalgic deep dive into the early years of some of the most beloved characters in the NCIS universe. One of the characters getting a lot of attention in the new show is a young Leroy Jethro Gibbs, played by a talented newcomer who has managed to capture the essence of Mark Harmon's iconic portrayal. However, as the series progresses, a potential plot hole involving Gibbs' father, Jackson Gibbs, has sparked heated debates among die-hard fans. The show's showrunner, Lisa Edwards, recently addressed these concerns in an exclusive interview, shedding light on the intricacies of the storyline and the challenges of maintaining continuity within such a long-running franchise. The plot hole that almost was. As NCIS Origins delves into the backstory of Leroy Jethro Gibbs. In particular, fans have noted discrepancies in the portrayal of Jackson Gibbs' role in young Gibbs' life. In the original series, it was implied that Gibbs and his father were estranged for many years, with their relationship only starting to mend later in Gibbs' life. However, in NCIS Origins, Jackson is depicted as being much more involved in Gibbs' upbringing, providing guidance and support as young Gibbs begins to navigate his early career in law enforcement. This perceived inconsistency has led to discussions online, with some fans accusing the new series of disregarding established continuity. Social media platforms have been abuzz with theories and speculations about how the showrunners might reconcile this apparent plot hole, or if they even intended to. The showrunner speaks out. In response to the growing concern, Lisa Edwards, the showrunner of NCIS Origins, agreed to an interview to clarify the creative decisions behind Jackson Gibbs' portrayal in the spinoff. First and foremost, I want to assure fans that we are very aware of the legacy we're dealing with, Edwards began. Gibbs is a character with a rich history, and his relationship with his father is a key part of that. We're not dismissing what has been established, rather, we're expanding on it in a way that we believe is true to the characters. Edwards went on to explain that the decision to show a closer relationship between young Gibbs and his father was a deliberate one. In the original series, Gibbs and Jackson's relationship was seen from a very specific point in time, mostly from an older Gibbs perspective. What we're doing in NCIS Origins is showing that relationship from a different angle, from when Gibbs was a young man and his father was trying to mold him into the man he would eventually become. She continued, "It's important to remember that relationships evolve over time. What may seem like a strong bond during Gibbs' younger years could easily become strained as life happens, and that's what we're exploring." There are moments in the original NCIS where Gibbs hints at having learned certain values and skills from his father, even if their relationship was complicated later on. That's the thread we're pulling on. Filling in the gaps. Edwards also addressed the timeline inconsistencies that have been a point of contention. We're aware of the timeline issues that some fans have pointed out, particularly regarding the years of estrangement that were implied in the original series. Part of what we're doing with NCIS Origins is filling in those gaps, showing the moments that led to that estrangement and the events that shaped their relationship over time. To achieve this, the writing team has carefully crafted a storyline that shows the gradual tension building between father and son. In the upcoming episodes of NCIS Origins, viewers will see the seeds of discord being planted as young Gibbs begins to question some of his father's decisions and values. These conflicts, according to Edwards, will set the stage for the eventual estrangement that fans are familiar with. We're not ignoring what came before, Edwards emphasized. In fact, we're using it as a foundation. Fans should trust that the story we're telling is leading somewhere that honors the original narrative. By the end of the season, I think people will understand why we made the choices we did. The challenge of legacy storytelling. Edwards acknowledged the challenges of writing for a character with such a long and established history. One of the biggest challenges in a show like this is balancing respect for the original material with the need to tell a fresh and engaging story.